Alright, so this is the Elder Scrolls Redguard. This is the spin-off game from the mid-90s. This is going to be being played through DOSbox and GOG Galaxy. Hopefully the capture device doesn't throw a fit and actually lets me do this. We'll see. I'll start a new game. I was hoping it would just start a new game from the beginning. I did this to make sure it worked on the computer, but we're going to listen to all the dialogue and stuff because old school DOS games, man.
It is late in the Second Era, a time of war, as the empire of Tiber Septim sweeps through the kingdoms of Tamriel in a glorious bid for conquest. Septim is opposed on all sides, but never more fiercely than by Hammerfell, the ancestral home of the Redguards. The High King of Hammerfell, Thasard II, resists the imperial invasions even as he sees other kingdoms crumble. Until at last, without warning and surprisingly devoid of court treachery, death takes its full measure. With its High King dead, Hammerfell is crippled, plunging into a bloody civil war between the crowns, fighting for their homeland's continued sovereignty, and the forebears, who have finally accepted the Emperor's rule. The crowns, led by the heir to Thasard, Prince Ator, are continually victorious, spilling the blood of the forebears across Hammerfell's sands. From his seat of power in the port city of Stros-Makai, Prince Ator slowly reunites his father's unraveled kingdom. Feeling their impending defeat, the forebears sign a pact with the Emperor, allowing him to bring his armies in, crush the crowns, and rule Hammerfell as his own. Tiber Septim's armies prove too much for the proud Redguard crowns. Tiber Septim sends his best commander, Lord Richten, to Stros-Makai to close the grip on Prince Ator and the crowns. The prince rallies his forces for one last stand. Knowing that Hammerfell's sovereignty is at stake, the crown forces match the might of the empire, meeting them in the harbor of Stros-Makai for the final battle. The fighting is fierce. Lord Richten, having seen the prince's victories at sea before, decides to bring his last resource to the fore. The dragon, Nathalilagus, proud jewel of the imperial crown. Ator commands his archers to ready their weapons, but is struck down himself by Richten's assassin, felled by an arrow whose poison spreads too fast. Ator's wizard attempts to save the prince, but the dragon ends his magic and the crown's hope for victory in a single fiery breath. Having conquered the crowns, the Emperor's forces claim rule over all of Hammerfell. Imperial garrisons are stationed at every city, and Richten himself is named provisional governor of Stros-Makai. Months pass. The Redguards of Hammerfell, both crown and forebear, learn to live under the new imperial rule, and Tiber Septim extends his reach into the rest of Tamriel. It is only through fate that any of this will come to concern our hero, Cyrus, a Redguard who long ago left Hammerfell to wander the borderlands of the Empire.
Crimea Cyrus, eto forwakecher okodor.
Let's make this short, Sarathra. I've got work to do.
Balizihataratami. Ficho.
I leave with Duardine's men in an hour.
Renrigi intnor. Oko o imperial ja. Iko pofam rototvelk.
You should know you got me the job.
Tragir. Fratra kol kotero to Hammerfell. Boshe in rot.
The seal is broken.
Fratra warregat.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Nuko Duardin. Fratra X. Fratra X Kyle.
Izara.
Roliter dek kaudor.
I feel like this intro wouldn't be out of place in like
I need a ship.
any Star Wars.
To board the koi Fratra Nakovik. Warabarashi.
Various bounty hunters are talking to any of the various other
Money,
people
too.
that the bounty
Sri
hunters are
Duardin ja. Epako ja. Srik. Pur Fratra kadoaliter beko.
We haven't spoken in 10 years. There was trouble.
Kakatar.
I killed her husband.
Hammerfell's prodigal son, Cyrus, returns to the province of his birth. He buys passage to the island of Stosmakai in the hopes of rescuing his sister, Izara.
Get below is what the pilot said to the wet-haired knaves before him.
The Restless League is claiming this cargo.
Said the other with cruel clarity.
Probably wouldn't make a difference if I told you I had no time for this.
This is about Redguard honor, boy. Stand aside.
Yes, a doubtful notion it is. Piracy and politics. But there you have it.
Never been much for politics. In my day, piracy was honest work.
Don't be a hero, boy.
Where's the money in that?
And yea, verily, by his bravery they were impressed for a scant few seconds.
You're rusty. Move over.
Not a good hit, but it will do. The lesson to learn, you little bastard. You two dance very well. No!
Mate, you're rusty.
No! Let me show the well-fucking. No! No! You really should have.
No. Swords forward, boy. Swords forward.
No! Yeah!
Lock.
Cyrus! Captain, good to see you back in command.
Please call me Brennan. You disposed of those ruffians so quickly, I had no time to retrieve my sword from my cabin.
That's so,
Look, over there. Let us move on before more show up.
I am going to need to check through controls real quick because I'm hoping there's like an alternate way to attack besides just control since I was kind of not very exact.
I hope this letter finds your hands, friend. My latest travels have brought me to Stros Mackay, and no one here has seen your sister for 3 months. I fear the worst. I feel obligated to stay for a few weeks. I'll be at the Dragon Tail Inn should you return, Tobias.
Ahoy there, sailor. Can I have a word with you? Greetings, stranger.
What can I do for you, friend?
The question is, what can I do for you? The young stranger in town, fearless, footloose, and fancy-free, a little light of purse, perhaps? I have a proposition that may appeal, but first allow me to introduce myself. Kataro, contractor of Stros Mackay, at your service.
Saris. Charmed. I wonder if you know my sister, Izara. I've come to Stros Mackay to find out what's happened to her.
I'm afraid I don't know her. I'm just a simple working man. You might try Dreekius up at the Dragon Tail. Pretty much everyone in Stros Mackay passes through his door eventually.
What do you know about a group of ruffians calling themselves the Restless League?
Damn them and their bloody-minded ways. They've done more to ruin Stros Mackay than the Four Bears and Empire combined. If it weren't for them, this city would have been at peace months ago.
I haven't been in Hammerfell since before the war. How do you like being a citizen of the Empire?
Sure beats war, my young friend. I won't lie to you, though. Hard to find honest labor these days. Four Bears would rather smirk than lift, and the Crowns don't have the back for it anymore.
Sounds like the Crowns are taking their defeat pretty hard.
Yeah, I've always stayed out of politics. Bad for business. Crown, Four Bear, I don't care. As long as their coin is true. My philosophy is, what's done is done. Live and let live. The grass is always greener, you know.
I guess the Four Bears are still savoring victory in the Civil War, eh?
Yeah, you could say that, although you might not want to say it in their faces. They're a touchy lot these days.
I've been up north for years, but I was pretty sure the Four Bears won the war.
Of course they did. And the Four Bears like to bust up the Dragon Tail just in case anyone doubts it. Some ungenerous Crowns like to point out the Imperial flags flying all over the palace and the Imperial soldiers patrolling the streets. None of my concern, though, haha, you know what I mean?
I'm supposed to meet a friend at the Dragon Tail. Can you direct me?
It's the only watering hole in town. Follow the ramps uphill to the town square. Bit of friendly advice, watch your step. The Four Bears are a touchy lot these days.
You call yourself a contractor. What does that mean?
Over here we have someone who needs something done. Over there we have someone who's looking for work. How do they find each other? That's where I come in.
Tell me about this job you have for me.
A simple task. Pick up an amulet from the Gasta and deliver it to the governor's palace. Now, to be honest, I've been having trouble finding someone to take the job. But I'm sure a robust lad such as yourself pays no attention to silly local superstitions. Are you interested?
Sure. I'll take the job.
Splendid. Here's your 100 gold. I'll have the rest for you after you deliver the amulet to the governor. Well, I'm sure you won't have any trouble, but, you probably want to do this during the daylight.
Refresh my memory about this job you hired me for.
A simple task. Pick up an amulet from the Gasta and deliver it to the governor's palace.
The Gasta?
Yeah, a harmless old hermit. The more superstitious of my fellow citizens repeat silly rumors about him, but I put no stock in their tales. He lives in the old wizard's tower. Just follow the shoals on the northwest side of the island.
Any idea what's so important about this amulet?
That's between the Gasta and the governor. I just get paid to find the delivery man.
How much are you offering for this job?
Like I said, I've been having trouble hiring for this job, so I'm upping the rate a bit. 100 up front and 200 more after completion.
That's pretty high for a simple delivery. What's the catch?
The pay's proportional to the danger. Nagasta's tower isn't exactly on the main road, you know? So you may have a little trouble getting there. Nothing that you can't handle, I'm sure.
Where can I find the governor's palace?
Straight at the top of the hill. You can't miss it. The grandest structure in Strass-Mackay, maybe in all of Hammerfell. Quite the tourist attraction before the late unpleasantness.
What superstitions do the locals harbor about this Nagasta?
Oh, you know, they call him a necromancer, prattle about him stealing people's souls, armies of undead, you know, that sort of thing. Nothing a well-armed fellow like yourself would worry about.
How is the Restless League responsible for ruining Strass-Mackay?
Burning or plundering half the cargoes headed for this port, stirring up the Imperials to ever more ruthless repression. The League doesn't seem to realize that the war is over, and they lost.
You're saying the League was allied with the Crowns?
That depends on who you ask. I don't know. I'm not one of your political gentlemen, always in someone else's business. I'm just a poor working stiff. A bird in the hand is better, you know what they say.
Streaky is?
A friendly local lizard. Not that I have anything against him, or her, or whatever. Can't ever tell with those Argonians. Runs the Dragon Tail, the tavern on the town square.
We'll talk later.
Hey, sailor.
May I trouble you for a moment, my lady?
Lady, you say? You must be new in town. Besides, Fiona would have remembered you.
Cyrus, at your service. Do you know a young lady named Izara? My sister, last seen over 3 months ago.
Sarah, yes. I see the family resemblance. Can't say I know her, though. She was all caught up in them troubles we had when the young prince was killed.
What is news around Strass-Mackay these days?
That it's best to keep your mouth shut or end up in the catacombs. Or worse.
Have you heard anything about a group called the Restless League?
They claim to fight the Empire, but they seem more interested in plunder from what I can tell. They make a point to target forebears, though. So I guess they aren't all bad.
A friend is meeting me at the Dragon Tail. Do you know it?
Sure, Sienna knows it all right. Used to be a favorite of mine till that damn lizard barkeep got all high and mighty on me. Does this friend have a name?
Tobias. Do you know him?
Did Hundine hate goblins? Of course I know him. One of my best customers, and I'm no lie. Any friend of Tobias is a friend of Sienna. I'll be happy to help you out any way I can.
Maybe you can help me. Tell me more about the recent troubles in Stros Mackay.
You know, the civil war between the Crowns and their forebears. You really aren't from around here, are you?
Tell me more about the Crowns.
They supported Prince Ator after his father died. True Redguard patriots. More's the pity.
What are these forebears? Who are they?
Forebears? Pah! And they call me a whore. Sold out the prince and left us with the streets full of fine soldiers and not an honest ring to any heel.
Was my sister involved in the Civil War in some way?
Well, I don't want to spread gossip, especially not to her brother. But they say she was friends with the prince. Good friends, you know. So it's no wonder she disappeared when Fat Boy came to town.
Fat Boy?
Oh, sorry. I mean His Imperial Highness Provisional Governor Lord Ripton.
This lizard barkeep, an Argonian?
Don't know his politics, but that Dreekius is a damn nuisance to us working girls. Pretentious of grandeur he has. Nobody before bears in there now anyway, and I wouldn't catch that gut for any cotter coin.
You don't care for Dreekius, then?
Well, he's not a bad sort for a lizard. Him and me just don't see eye to eye on the friendship of the thighs, so to speak. But he knows anyone who's anyone on this island. No mistake.
Tell me about this Rickton.
He's a bad one, he is. Siona can tell. Invited me up to the palace once, but I won't be back. Maybe Siona's not a fine lady, but she's an honest working girl and doesn't like being treated like dirt. And she definitely doesn't like being watched by that sneaking, prick-eared shadow.
These catacombs, some kind of a dungeon?
That's where Fat Boy's houses any crowns he can catch. Under the palace, where the dragon lives.
Where is the governor's palace?
The poor dead prince's palace, you mean. Just keep climbing up the hill. You can't miss it. But don't expect to sneak your way in.
Who is this shadow you speak of?
Fat Boy's pet assassin, Clam. A ghoul from furthest Morrowinds, they say. Those red eyes of his watching me. No, Sienna won't be back to the palace. Not for all the coin in Hammerfell.
A dragon lives in these catacombs?
That's how Fat Boy beat the Crowns. The Imperials, at least, think the dragon's still down there, laying about on the Royal Sea of coin.
We'll talk later. Be careful.
Well?
Hello, my name is Cyrus.
And mine is Trithic, lad.
I'm looking for my sister Izara. Perhaps you've seen her?
I do not know the name, but so many have been lost since the dragon arrived.
She went missing about 3 months ago.
If she was with the Crowns, I would count her among the casualties. Rickton's slaughter was elegant only in its thoroughness.
The ship that brought me here was beset upon by some rascals called the Restless League. What do you know about them?
They were the necessary cancer of a nation divided and at war, grown at the borders where the kingdom's skin is most contested by the foreign sword. Fearless men, whose names are all too often breathed in hate. Don't believe them too wrong, for even the prince had their ear.
It seems quiet here, especially for a port city. How fares Stros Mackay under Imperial rule?
Defeat is read in every native face, my boy. The war cost the city much, including its voice. The crowns are no more, as kingless as Yokuda, lost now to song which no one will sing, lest Richten hear. Overmuch, the governor is the reason Stros Makai is so quiet.
I have not heard mention of Yokuda since my childhood.
The first land where the Redguards came from in blessed Hunding's day.
I saw the statue of Hunding on my way into port. I'm surprised Richten hasn't leveled it yet.
He cannot or will not, for it keeps the goblins out of Stros Makai, out and under it. Such is Frandar Hunding's grace that he blinds them still.
There are goblins under Stros Makai?
And worse, but you needn't worry about them. They are doomed to the dirt and bother the Redguard no more.
I fear that my sister's disappearance had something to do with the Civil War.
I read more than fear in your face, Redguard. Either retribution or redemption. Alas, sometimes they are the same. Neither can come without wounds.
I said nothing about redemption or...
Why else would you be here in this narrative? In you...
How can the two be the same?
In their concern for blood. In blood as closure. I assure you, it will be spilt before you find your sister. A prayer may do you well.
Where should I pray?
At the Temple of Blessed Arcade. Brother Niddle presides there, and he knew most of the people in town. He may know something about your sister.
Where is the temple?
In the town square, shoreside from the pool.
Thanks, Trip. I've got to go.
Good day.
Hello, shopkeeper. My name is Cyrus.
Pleased to meet you, my good fellow. Garrett, your humble servant.
How's business these days?
If it's not pirates stealing your cargo, it's imperial taxes. I get by, though. All the ships heading for the Iliac Bay pass through here, so I get first crack at all their wares. As long as I can get that lazy Rollo to bring it up from the harbor. Lazy Rollo, fat Orsine.
I'd like to make a purchase.
Splendid. What do you need?
That looks like a decent compass.
The one item no one should be without. Never lose your way again. For the small investment of 50 gold, peace of mind for a lifetime.
I'll take it.
A pleasure doing business with you, Cyrus.
How much for a torch?
A classic design, functional and long-lasting. For you, Cyrus, 20 each.
I'll take it.
You won't regret it.
Thanks for the time, Garrick.
do feel like it should pick one or the other for sound.
Hello, brother. I'm Cyrus, recent to this shore.
Brother Niddle, good son. Welcome to the Temple of Arcade.
Can you heal me, Brother Niddle?
Please forgive the formalities, but the governor has levied a temple tax of 25 gold for any magical services rendered, healing or otherwise. Will you pay the tax?
Fine. My sister Izara has been missing for near 3 months. Perhaps you have heard of her?
I knew her well, actually. But she never mentioned having a brother. She was a fiery sort, as I'm sure you know, and her Redguard blood did not fare well under Imperial rule. She is not the only nationalist who has disappeared since the governor claimed the city. There have been others.
What others have disappeared?
Brother Kithral, my initiate and good friend, for one. He was an outspoken man and a Crown sympathizer. He was enamored of your sister, I must say, and took to her Crown propaganda readily. Are you a follower of Arcade, Cyrus?
Me? No. Well, not in the worshipper sense.
In what sense, then?
I'm not that wayward, brother. I do believe in the gods and in their, importance to man and, all that.
And Arcade's importance would be?
I'm usually the one who asks all the questions, Brother Niddle.
You're an old man.
Arcade, then, the shepherd of the soul who watches us through our lives and our deaths and guides us between them in the heavenly interim.
May he watch over you.
Do you know anyone that Izara may have kept company with, vanished nationalist or otherwise?
Like I said, I knew her well, and she spoke often to Brother Kithral, my former initiate, but he, too, has disappeared. She was a devout Archaean, Izara. I once almost convinced her to join the temple, but that was before she... well...
Before she what?
Before she what, Brother Niddle?
Well, man, before she vanished.
I trust that you will seek me out if you hear anything more of my sister.
I will be honest, Cyrus. She is either dead or worse, for I know she would not have left Stros Makai even after Ator's defeat. Rikton had a list of rebels when he took the throne, and Isara's name was undoubtedly upon it.
Why the temple tax?
Just another of Rikton's rules, my boy, along with several other solutions to the burden of empire.
When did you last see Kithral?
I sent him to the park for fresh mandrake root, and that is probably where Rikton's men were waiting. Kithral was against the Imperial expansion from the start, though I reminded him that Arcade frowns on more secular interests. This warning Kithral obviously did not take to heart.
Until later, Brother Niddle.
Goodbye, my son.
Concept art or whatever in these loading screens. It's pretty cool. Sorry.
She floats through my dreams with the greatest of ease. The fat one-eyed lady with sweet-smelling knees.
Name's Cyrus. You okay?
No, I'm Crendel.
You've certainly spent a lot of time at the local tavern.
Wixton's got that damn lizard Dreekius charging 3 gold pieces for lousy Valenwood wine. He freaks me out, picking flies off the bar with his tongue. I can't relax with that going on.
Just like a drunk to blame the bartender for his troubles.
Ha! Who the heck do you blame for yours, anyway, tough guy? I know Dreekius' story. Just no one else does. Damned Argonians. Them dark elves got it right. Cage him up and let him haul ash.
Don't like Argonians either. Who do you like, Crendel?
Fine then, fine. Hang around that scaly bastard and catch the flu.
There hasn't been a case of that in 200 years.
All I'm saying, those of us who play our cards right could open a right good belt shop. Yeah.
Liquor tax?
That's right. It's a real shock that sailors don't hang around anymore. Who's in charge of that one?
I've had enough.
Good. What will it be, traveler?
Barkeep, well met. I'm Cyrus.
I know. I had Tobias made out a fool to believe you'd come.
Why?
I'm the one that smuggled his letter out for him. The Empire's been watching all shipments from this port. I figured our chances were slim.
Many thanks, then.
Welcome to the Dragon Tail, by the way, thesis-bound subsistence of mine, where there is good ear and ale co-equal. What can I do for you?
A drink might be nice. I'll use your ears later, maybe.
Ever ready to listen, Softskin? Let adventure thine be mine. I'll share what thoughts I can.
What can you tell me about Azara?
She frequented this establishment much before the battle in Hunting Bay. Less after, of course.
Of course?
She was a fervent one, your nestling, who hated the Empire not in hushed tones. After the occupation, she disappeared for a while.
She disappeared 3 months ago.
No, I'm talking about before that, right after the battle. Many crowns made themselves scarce then. Isara was one of them. I didn't see her for several weeks following. Later she showed up, needing a drink and rambling, intent on some decision.
What then?
The Imperials came, and I let her out through the window. I haven't seen her since.
The occupation, it seems, is taking long to consolidate, with the League about and the Imperials still hunting for wayward crowns.
Hammerfell's the defiant line of the human race still. They say some still fight the Empire on the mainland.
Is thus the Empire delayed in further expansion?
The whole wild world.
the elf kingdoms, and the beast lands. Waits to see what finally happens here in the last land of men. A word of advice. Beware the dragon tribe of the Emperor. The warrior king Tibir Septim does not tolerate rebellion. And Governor Rickton has promised summary execution to any who take arms to oppose his rule.
Wouldn't dream of it, unless he's responsible for my sister's disappearance.
Even if he were responsible, perhaps it would be wise to proceed cautiously.
Cautiously, eh? If only I knew how to do that.
Such a bad service.
You said the Imperials came here looking for Azara the last night you saw her.
Not specifically for Azara. The Imperials had a list of dissidents they sought. Her name was there, with names of many other crowns. Since that time, I see only forebears here.
So Azara did survive the Battle of Stros Makai.
Aye, she did, and then hid well in its aftermath, until 3 months ago.
What are you talking about?
This tavern, of course, both site and subsidy of my studies, as well as a fine storehouse of spirits.
What's your subject of study?
The other, of course. Those ones not skinned in scale. We see that Septim's tribes will not be long satisfied with the thrones of men and the elder race. One day they will come to Black Marsh. Argonians have lost land once before, when we did not know our enemy.
I see, and what better place to learn the wants of men than at the bar?
There are other places, universities, the military, the magical guild, but I aim to chart man's geography of desire, which is most readily charted when he is drunk and blathering.
Hey, Drakius, I got this delivery job that'll get me into the palace for sure.
What are you going to deliver?
Some amulet meant for the governor.
Do you have it yet?
Not yet, I've got to get it at the Necromancer's Isle.
Don't forget to bring some gold to pay the boatman, Cyrus. And be careful.
Thanks, Drakius, I will. I'd better keep moving. Can we talk later?
Anytime, anytime.
It's like a beach to buy a here. Let's pay.
Cyrus! You made it! Come here, lad. Oh, you look good. It's been too long.
If you hadn't retired...
Mercenary life's younger men's work.
Bah, he said.
I prayed that you would get my letter.
It is lucky you were here, Tobias, or I wouldn't have known Azara was in trouble. I have not been in Hammerfell since the...
I know, lad, what you mean.
Anyway, Stros Makai has no one who could have reached me. Thank you.
I sent a letter some weeks ago, Cyrus. I fear things have gotten worse for your sister since.
How did you know where to reach me, Tobias? Our paths parted so long ago.
I didn't send it to you directly. I knew that damn cat was probably still getting you into trouble, even to this day. Srathra seemed the likely solution. And through the channels I'd heard, he'd made Wayrest his port of late.
Now, he's moved from the throne seekers of the old empire to the lesser lords of High Rock, still playing them to his benefit, raking in the gold on all fronts.
I thought that Septim had solidified the Britons.
As much as the witchmen will, there is still a lot of money to be made in the drawing of borders before the provincial laws dry completely. Mercenaries are in great demand right now, as are fixers like our cat friend.
Does he still stink so?
To hear.
I think I will go see him when I leave. It's been too long.
How do you mean worse? What more do you know about Azara?
Nothing more than my letter has described. That she is gone and no one knows where. Just a bad feeling that's grown worse with the wait. The governor has not been merciful with the crowns that survived the battle. I hear his dragon's belly is full of the overloud, and that many died later in the burning of the old quarter.
What happened to the old quarter?
The crowns fled ashore there after the battle. It was their last stand. The governor sent his dragon, and it was done.
Was Azara there?
That section of town is closed off. No one I've talked to knows if she was there or not.
Where's the dragon now?
It's disappeared too. Some say it has returned to the imperial province. Others say the governor keeps it well paid and fed in the catacombs below the palace.
Is there another way into the catacombs?
There is the traditional way.
Imagine that I laughed. Secret entrance, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
Who in this town knew of Azara?
I did not question many for fear of ill allegiance. So I went to the temple to ask of her. For the brothers of RK are neutral in mortal affairs. There, Brother Niddle told me that Azara had vanished, and set me on the road of righting you. Also, Dreekius here knew that she was missing too.
So the priests are still safe from being conquered?
Be that as it may, the temple is quite empty of priests, save for Brother Niddle. It seems some of their ranks have disappeared also.
I'm noticing a theme. Where did you hear that?
Niddle told me Brother Cathral vanished around the same time as your sister, and that they knew each other.
So I can count Brother Niddle as an ally then?
On my word, he was most helpful, but he seemed to be holding something back.
I wouldn't consider paranoia a bad character trait in Stros Mackay these days. Besides, you're so ugly.
That was it. He may open up to you more, being Azara's brother and half as hard to look at.
Tell me about the temple.
The head priest, a Brother Niddle, was very helpful in regards to Azara. He seemed to know her well, and shared my concern over her disappearance. He is worth an interview.
I think I saw it across the plaza. Is it safe to talk here?
As safe as any, and the ale is good. Dreekius can be trusted as much as any walking lizard can be. It might get a little rough with all the forebears around, but I'll be here until I leave Stros Mackay.
The barkeep is a long way from Black Marsh, isn't he?
That's right, and it's kept me good company in my wait for you. Trust it well after I leave, for it knows this island and all who live here. But don't bother asking about the eye, because I already have.
Dreekius knows of the Eye of Argonia?
It's got the skin for it, wouldn't you say? I'll find the thing yet, and before you, if I get my way.
Another soft skin with dreams of the priceless king's jewel of ancient Black Marsh. You look this sort too, all sword and swagger. Tobias, he describes you well.
Aye, but Cyrus here must save that adventure for another day. He's got a sister to find. I've told him that you will help him after I depart, lizard. So mark me well.
Whatever you say.
Do you think Azara chose sides in the Civil War, and that is why she has disappeared?
Your family's always been partisan, lad, since your early days in Sentinel. I ventured she still held her old allegiances, even if you haven't. Few crowns in Stros Makai survived the battle with the Imperials, but I know Azara was one of them.
How?
Hearing of the defeat of the crowns caused me much concern. When I arrived, a search for word of Azara's safety. The only ones here who knew of her said that she had disappeared shortly after the Imperials landed.
I'll be back. If you're not here, thanks for everything. And good luck.
Just find your sister and get out of here. And send word through Stratra. Go on, you'll do fine.
Cyrus, can I help you? What can I do for you, Cyrus?
So that was the dude I was supposed to talk to, so we're doing well on that. You might at least go up and see where the flag is possibly at.
Hey, Redguard. What about a drink?
What do you want?
This is the palace, correct?
That's correct.
This is the palace, correct?
That's correct.
I need to speak with Governor Richter.
What business do you have with him?
I need to ask him a few questions.
Not good enough. Now move along.
That's all for now, but I'll be back. Sure.
This is definitely super cool. I bet because I bet that I have to in order to use the map. Hopefully it's less than 80 things open.
Yes?
Good day. I'm Cyrus.
Aren't too many youngsters around these days, especially not as well-spoken as you. I'm Maiko, the local cartographer. Can I help you?
I need a map.
Do you have any maps for sale?
Sorry, I don't sell retail, contract work only, but perhaps I can make a map for you?
I could use a map of the island.
I used to make those, but I can't compete with the big Hammerfell cartography houses. Hire beggars and street urchins to copy off a master map. You've probably seen their cheap city maps around. Nothing like a good hand-drawn map. But people don't seem to care about craftsmanship anymore.
What are people talking about around town these days?
Damning the governor's eyes, mainly. I try not to get involved in all those troubles. I've seen more than enough suffering in my life. I just want to spend my last days working with my maps.
Working with my maps.
I wonder if you've heard of this Restless League.
The alliance between Daggerfall, Wayrest, and Balthiera against the Cyrodiils during the First Era? No, that was the League of Unrest. No, sorry, I'm just not familiar with it.
What do your maps tell you?
Maps are like people. Did you know that, Cyrus? There are good maps, bad maps, indifferent maps. You shouldn't trust most maps. They'll lead you astray if you give them a chance. An honest map is rarer than a true friend. Remember that, young sir.
Do you know a young woman named Izara?
I'm afraid not. I don't know too many of the youngsters around town these days. You see, I prefer to spend my time with my maps.
So big maps you go for.
Is life under the Imperial Governor so harsh?
I said I didn't want to speak of such things.
We'll talk later.
So is that a no? Like I couldn't even like get it. Like he's like, I worked on contract and commission. Like, they can even give you the option of doing commission with them right now.
Hello there.
Hello again, Brother Niddle.
It is good to see you, Cyrus.
The temple seems very empty, Brother Niddle. Are you its only priest?
We have ever been understaffed. It was horrible right after the battle. All the dead and dying. But luckily, I had Brother Kithral to help me tend to them. Since he is gone now, I must carry on alone.
What can you tell me about the governor?
That he is a hard man. Richten threatened to raise the temple when I refused to hand over the wounded of Prince Ator, who had survived the battle. I assured him that even his emperor could not defy divine law. Nevertheless, the wounded under my care were healed only to be thrown into the catacombs thereafter.
What of Prince Ator?
He was lost at sea, my boy. That is all I know. And that it was rumored that Izara knew him personally.
So my sister knew the prince then?
Leave that alone, boy. That was but a rumor.
Did my sister fight in the Battle of Stros Makai?
No, she was never part of the military. She could have been, though. She was good with a sword, I hear.
What is the divine law?
Richten wanted to rescind the crown's right to sanctuary while they were wounded, or to desecrate the bodies of the enemy dead before I gave them their last rites.
So Ator's men are in the catacombs, then?
Either that, or they are fruit for the necromancer. It is somehow appropriate that Richten deals with that nefarious slug.
What happened to the bodies of Ator's men after their last rites?
Food for the dragon, more than likely. But at least their souls are safe from the necromancer.
The Imperials have a dragon?
Its name is Nafal-Elagus, and it lives in the catacombs, or so I have heard. It has not been seen in the skies since the battle, so maybe Richten is lying about it still being around.
What about this necromancer?
Nagasta has been here long, manifest in Tassad's good rule. Ator had kept his wretchedness at bay, but now, with the prince gone, he has cursed the land.
How has Nagasta cursed the land?
The very soil of Stros Makai is cursed. Nagasta has become very powerful, and has weaved a soul snare across the island. Any who die must quickly have their last rites performed before their souls become his to claim.
How is Stros Makai these days, Brother Niddle?
You should be able to see it just from the faces on the streets, my boy. But then again, there aren't that many faces out there anymore. Things have become quiet since the occupation.
I have seen the Empire expanding into all of Tamriel in my travels. Why is the occupation of Stros Makai full of more bloodshed than most?
You have only your Redguard blood to answer that, my boy. When has Hammerfell ever suffered foreign rule? The Civil War was bloody, to be sure, but when the forebears allied with the Empire, the crowns felt they had been betrayed by their own kind. They were prepared to fight to the last man, and the Empire sent Admiral Richten to make sure they did.
What else do you know about Richten?
That you should stay away from him, my boy. He will not care if you are a crown or not, should he find out that you are Izara's brother. However, you are probably safe in the city for the time being, as he never leaves the palace, seems.
Until later, Brother Niddle.
Goodbye, my son.
It's really weird that, like, I couldn't get... Does this guy just want to sell maps to people? People buy up the guy.
Welcome to Jeffers. May your wisdom increase.
Hail, Desert Walker. I am Cyrus.
Jeffer is at your service.
I'd like to buy a book.
These shelves hold wisdom and folly in equal measure. Choose carefully.
Is Flora of Hammerfell worth buying?
The authoritative work, no less. And for the bargain price of 15 gold, it can be yours.
I'll take it.
Jafar is sure you will enjoy it.
Stros Mackay seems quiet, almost deserted. Has the Imperial occupation been so harsh?
Tiber Septim has many clansmen of lesser repute than he. The city of the Redguard suffers under one of the least of these. Provisional Governor Richten.
Tiber Septim's reputation seems to depend on who you ask.
True, and the Redguards have long memories, as the statue in the harbor attests. History loves an empire builder, though. Jafar cannot yet say who will write Septim's epitaph.
I was surprised to see Hunding's statue still standing, national treasure or not.
Doubtless, our esteemed governor has reasons aside from Redguard's sentiment. Lord Richten has shown indifference to such niceties in other matters. Witness the fate of the old quarter.
Peace, Desert Walker. I must go.
I'm wondering if the compass doesn't work if you have a map.
Redguard!